I spent 42 years, the first 42 years of my life avoiding any kind of fear, or as far as that goes, any emotion. And so, when I met my wife, Davey, I called up an acquaintance of mine that I knew was a family therapist, marriage counselor. And I called him up and I said, I want an appointment and I want to bring my girlfriend because I don't know what's happening here and I think I'm going to need some help. So it's a very unique situation, an unmarried couple in marriage counseling. But what I found and what I was going through right then was that I had a perfect way of avoiding just about everything that was emotional, and I was the best at quitting. I could get out of things before they got started. So then the emotion of love came in, and I wasn't able to see through it and how I would deal. So our first visit, first of all, I said, you know, I don't think there's any problem with her. It's me, because I am nuts. No doubt about that. And I need some help. And he said, okay, the first thing I want you to do is you can't quit anything. And it was right then that I joined Toastmasters. I can't quit. I can't run. And he said, I want you to understand some things. That there are emotions, even men have deep emotions that have to be dealt with. Mitch talked about it in his way. And he started to talk about pebbles and ripples in a way that has confused me. It has helped me through the years, but I haven't mastered it yet. Talked about mastery a little earlier, and if I can get this, I think my life will be more peaceful, will be more productive. The last time I gave this speech was about 15 years ago, and everybody walked away saying, I don't have a clue what he was talking about. So it's an intent. Okay, the pebble is an event. It can be something big, like landing an airplane sideways. It could be a good thing, like finding a morel mushroom, or catching a fish, watching a sunset. It's any event that provokes an emotion. And that, big and small. So you look at that event, and you look at the nature of where it goes, what happens to it. And Ramon Corrales is his name, said you visualize a pebble being thrown into a pond. And you throw that into a pond, and what happens? Ripples. I was telling Julie earlier, I grew up in right where Oak Park Mall is, and there was 3 ponds there. My uncle owned the farm. And I spent all day throwing pebbles. And I always had the concept that the cause of the ripple was the pebble. And he said, no, it's not. And I said, yes, it is. Newton says you throw something into a body of water and the pebble causes the ripple. So the paradox begins and the confusion reigns. I said, well, can you tell me more? He said, the pebble is thrown into a pond. What happens if you throw it just like I did there, throw it on carpet? Does it ripple? Well, the scientists in us would say something happens. There's some unseen vibration or something has happened, but it's reacting to that. And he says, no, I want you to look at the pond as your emotional body right here, where everything lands. And he said, I want you to respond from the fact that the pebble did not cause the emotional response. It was you. You're responsible for your response. And I didn't get it. And I still have trouble with it. Especially with a week like last week. Think about all the things that came at us. Pretty emotional stuff. And we responded, all of us, in our own way. We look at it and say, gosh, what do I think about this? What do I think about this? And we really test us clear to the limit. People are dying and explosions and stuff like that. So we have our responses. Well, what happens if we go a little deeper with this? You throw this pebble into our emotional pond, and I know we all feel this from time to time, but that pebble sinks down into our pond and goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and then all of a sudden there's an explosion. We call that a grenade. How many times have you grenaded? Has anybody grenaded? If I was held accountable for some of my emotional responses, I'd be in jail. I mean, I want to kill some people. And so what's happening out in the world is all these emotional grenades. I'm not saying there isn't some other aspects to it. A third thing he asked me to do was to volunteer at Shawnee Mission Medical Center, where he had some contacts. He said, I want you to go up there on Saturday night and sit on the, I think it was 6th or 7th floor of the mental hospital. He goes, for an hour every Saturday night, go up there and listen to their stories. And I did that not every weekend, but two or three weekends a month. And Gio would say, oh, you just seem so much better, because I sat in a group about this size and just listened to the why people are emotionally, unstable. And I remember one night where this fella was talking about the most important thing in his life was his daughter. And he said, I'm going to kill her mother. And I went to the staff and I said, this is beyond me. What do we do with a guy like that who's known? And I went to him and told him. 2 days later, he got out and I opened up the paper and he did it. And I said, wow, this is heavy duty stuff. And he was just so insistent on it. So why am I any different? And I also look at, those are big things. I also look at the little things. My productivity. If I have these emotional grenades, and it happens at work, I find it takes me forever to get back on track. Have you ever had that? A boss can just look at you and throw you off for hours, sometimes weeks, sometimes lifetimes, of just not able to process it properly. And so if I could master any one thing to improve my productivity, to create a better world, would be to go out and speak about pebbles, ripples, and grenades. There's a whole lesson on how to do it. I'm reading his material again. I've helped him with his work in the past. And I'm going to keep talking about it so that to help me mainly, but to see if I can explain it and articulate it, all for giving a little more peace in the world.